In the dark forest, where trees grew so densely that sunlight barely penetrated the thicket, stood an old abandoned house. Its facade was mangled by time, and the windows were boarded up with planks. For many years, no one had set foot on its threshold, and the forest had begun to reclaim it. A group of friends consisting of 5 daredevils decided to venture into this forest in search of adventure. Among them were Jack, the eternal optimist and main instigator of explorations; Emma, bold and determined; Ben, an adrenaline junkie; Jessica, a skeptic who only agreed to join because she didn't want to be left alone; and finally, Kyle, timid and indecisive but loyal to his friends. They made their way through the dense forest, following Jack, who eagerly talked about what they might find in the abandoned house. When they reached it, the air was filled with the scent of mold and oblivion. Emma stepped onto the threshold first, and the others followed. Inside the house, a gloomy silence reigned, with only a faint glow seeping through dusty windows. They began to explore the rooms, trying to uncover what had happened to this place many years ago. They found old furniture covered in cobwebs and scattered books with decaying pages. But as they delved deeper into the house, they started hearing strange sounds. Quiet footsteps behind them, muffled rustling from the adjacent room. Initially, they dismissed them as their imaginations, but as the sounds grew louder and more frequent, fear began to engulf the friends.
What is that?
Kyle's voice shook with tension.
Maybe it's just forest animals?
Ben said, but even his confidence sounded weak. Emma, always quick on her feet, grabbed a flashlight and suggested checking the source of the noise. The others agreed and followed her. As they approached the door of the adjacent room, the sounds became clearer and more distinct. They resembled whispers and shuffling, as if someone or something was there. Hearts pounding, they cautiously opened the door. The room was dark, but the flashlight revealed signs of activity. The walls were adorned with inscriptions made in blood and strange symbols they couldn't decipher. Items were scattered on the floor, as if someone had been searching among them.
What is this place?
Jessica said, her voice shaking with fear.
I don't know, but we need to get out of here.
Ben said, but as they turned to leave, they realized they were not alone in this house. Standing in the doorway was a shadow too tall and too dark to be human. They froze in terror, watching as the shadow began to approach them. Fear consumed them as they realized they weren't just exploring an abandoned house. They had stumbled upon something much more sinister and inexplicable. In a panic, they rushed towards the exit, but as they ran, they heard the sound of a door closing in another part of the house. They were trapped in this dark place with something pursuing them.
We need to find a way out. Come on.
Irma shouted, but every step they took in the dark corridors of the house seemed more and more hopeless. Shadows danced on the walls, their footsteps echoed through the abandoned hallways, and the sounds grew closer and closer. When they finally found the exit, they could already feel the presence breathing down their necks. As they emerged from the house, they ran without looking back until they were safely outside the cursed place. They only stopped when they had run out of the forest and looked back at the abandoned house, which stood there as a witness to their horrifying adventure. Their exploration of this house in the forest had become not only an exploration of an abandoned building, but also a plunge into the world of the unknown and the terrifying. And although they physically escaped, the shadow of this place lingered with them for a long time, reminding them that they were not alone in this world, and not all secrets should be uncovered.